Hey guys, how's everyone doing out there? Want to welcome you to the broadcast. Wanted to come on here and do a quick severe weather update. Let's talk about the severe potential. And we're watching some storms starting to develop. Nothing that looks concerning at this time, but it's something we're certainly going to have to continue to watch. I do think over the next several hours, things will start to increase. We'll start to see an increase in coverage. And I think there's some thunderstorms that I want to bring your attention to that we need to watch as it moves east. And there's some things that we're waiting on for some severe weather. So let's get right into this. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We're definitely back into the weather center tracking this. So we'll give it just a second for some more people to tune in. And like I said, please chat. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll get started here in just a second. So, a few things we got to watch. 56, welcome, Lisa. Speaking of 56, you've got a pretty strong thunderstorm right around your area. I'll get to that here in just a second, but let's jump right into this. We got a lot of people tuning in now. We've got tuning in from Marshall, Phoenix. Pat says Leslie. Barbara says Marshall. Julie says All Red. B Branch, Conway, Oxley, Crabtree. What's up? Got a lot of people tuning into this broadcast, guys. Welcome to the broadcast. We're live here doing a quick weather update. Going to tell you about our latest thoughts going forward. And so let's get this thing started. So let's go Skyscan Doppler first because I want to bring your attention to a few thunderstorms that have developed. Some of these are a little bit on the stronger side. Between Denard, I think there's heavy rain to the north of Denard. Timbo, I think there's maybe even, let's look at this, maybe even some small hail right around the Timbo area. These thunderstorms are elevated in nature. And the reason for that is because the warm front has not reached them. But guys, this right here is what we're concerned about. This particular thunderstorm in White County, uh, something's up with the radar beam, it looks like. So that ain't good. But yeah, something's up with the radar beam, it looks like. That needs to get fixed, and I know it will. Uh, that right there, probably gonna go tornado warning pretty soon. It's got the look. That is certainly a supercell, and that's the concern over the next several hours. So, uh, we need to watch that storm very close. If you know anybody in White County, give them a heads up. The warm front is working its way towards our area. And here's what I mean by that. Let's go to the Marshall camera here and take a look at this. Let me backtrack it just a little bit. You'll notice the fog, it was very foggy and it's starting to clear a little bit. Now, visibility isn't the greatest right now because there's a storm over it right now. However, previously, it was pretty foggy. And so that tells me that that warm front is making its way towards our direction. So we're watching this very close and we'll continue to watch a few different areas. But right now, there's nothing that looks real concerning to me. There's nothing that's really caught my attention just yet. But we are watching multiple areas and got to watch the threat for tornadoes. I'm just telling you like it is. So let's go back. Let's go ahead and we're going to go back to Skyscan Doppler and take a look at a few more of these thunderstorms. We are starting to see some rotation in the upper levels in a few locations. Nothing that's significant, but I would expect, yeah, there's just an issue with the radar beam. That's going to have to get fixed, which I know it is. I think it just glitched. Let me make sure that's not, oh, okay, there we go. There we go. All right, let's look at this storm for a second here. Yep, little bit of rotation. Little bit of rotation. I redid my rotation tracker here. So now it's going to be easier than ever to identify when storms are rotating, and it's going to make it easier for you guys. So we're looking for anything that highlights orange. And I don't see anything other than this storm right here. We're going to have to watch this. I got a feeling we could see a tornado warning coming for the White County area. This is a supercell. It's isolated in nature, and it's right there, and it's got the look too. So we are going to have to watch our area for the next several hours. I'm watching this storm around Russellville. I'm also watching the storm around Perryville. I'm watching this, but I want to show you something. This right here is instability, and this also tells us where the tornado threat would be. So if we look at what's called significant tornado parameters, don't take it literally, but where wind shear, cape instabilities coming together, you can see that warm front is certainly surging up. We've got a couple tornado warnings actually out of Arkansas towards Texas area. But look at this. This is shifting off our direction. And where that particular thunderstorm was that I just showed you in White County is in one of the elevated areas. I fully expect that thing's fixing to go tornado warning. And I think that's going to be our first tornado warning of the day. Will be right there. But this is going to continue to push east, and that is, west. And that is why there is that severe weather threat. So we're continuing to watch multiple areas, but the main focus right now is heavy rain for us, some lightning, some thunder, but not seeing anything in the way of tornadic storms, at least not right now. There's nothing that looks real concerning to me. I've been watching this on radar. For the most part, this is just, a little bit stronger thunderstorm, but I don't see anything in the way of rotation. And what I'm doing is I'm analyzing what's called a rotation tracker, and we're looking to see if there's any areas that highlights. I'm telling you, this area right here is lightening up. I would not be surprised if we get a tornado warning for White County pretty soon, because that's starting to pop up. I don't think. Let's watch the Timbo area. I think it's a bad radar read. I don't think there's any real rotation over there, not at least right now. But Timbo 56 might want to watch this storm a little bit closer. This could be riding the warm front. I think definitely the warm front is riding that area. So this would be a storm we'd have to watch. The warm front is still making its way towards Van Buren and Searcy County. It is making its way. It's moving pretty slow, but I think it's getting close to our area. And so we're seeing some clearing. It's going to be these thunderstorms we're going to have to watch. This one in particular, it's starting to look a little bit odd. Not seeing any signs of rotation, but it's like I said, it's going to be these thunderstorms that form to our south. That's what's going to be, we're going to have to watch. Baxter County here, 56 and raining all day. So if you're 56 degrees, that warm front has not reached you, and I would say that your severe weather threat is very low. So that's good news. But if you're like us in Clinton, where, we're up, let's see, dew point of 63-degree dew point. That's 63 is very supportive of severe weather. So instability is moving in. It's certainly trying. Does anybody have any questions out there? I'm not going to stay on very long because I want to make sure that I'm ready to go if something goes down. But I just wanted to tell you that we are here in the Weather Center watching this storm very closely. These storms, as they progress, as they move east, and I certainly think that there's some storms that look more concerning than others. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night, and it's already starting kind of to set up that way. We're just past that 3 o'clock time frame, and what did I tell you? 3 o'clock on, that's when we could have some problems. So we're continuing to watch, and I know there's showers and some rain here to the north, right around the Weather Center, and some lightning too. But I don't think that's going to do much of anything to our severe weather threat. I don't. So, is St. Joe in danger? Nothing in specific, just heavy rain. But I certainly think there is a severe weather threat for St. Joe today. Definitely. Does the storm in Timbo have hail? That's a great question. It's got some very small hail. Radar is estimating about a quarter inch of hail. So not too much, but, we're seeing some clearing here. And unfortunately, I think this is the clearing that's going to be, I think this warm front is going to continue to surge into Van Buren County. Let's look at it. Let's look at where it thinks this warm front is right now. Let's go. According to this, which is our atmospheric information, it's showing the warm front is just off to our east and it's moving to the west. So certainly there's a severe weather threat way down here. But you can see on the leading edge of this front, look at all the severe thunderstorm warnings. Look at these. Look at tornado warnings. What it's doing? It's riding the front. That's the concern, is that these storms tonight, it depends on where this warm front sets up. But if this warm front can get up past Marshall, can get up to Harrison, then everything south of Harrison would have a significant severe weather threat. If the warm front stalls out in Marshall, Marshall's got a severe weather threat, and everything to the south of Marshall's got a severe weather threat. As of right now, Fairfield Bay, you have a solid severe weather threat. Morganton, you do as well. This is starting to make its way into Van Buren County. I can see this. It's moving. So if you're asking me where the warm front is, it would be in Van Buren County. And it's moving to the northwest. Moving to the northwest. Uh, you can see the way the winds are shifting. That tells me that's headed our direction. So the rain has caused it some issues in terms of not allowing this warm front to progress as fast as what, some of the models are showing. But here's what I want to bring your attention to. Let's look at it because I've got the models pulled up and I want to show you what this is estimating here. So this is at, this is pretty much, this is really close. Shows Clinton 65, and I think we're right around that. So watch. This is at 6 o'clock. That's 72 degrees. That's very supportive of severe weather. If we look at our surface-based instability, yeah, plenty of storm fuel. If we look at tornado parameters, man, those things skyrocket. Those things skyrocket with storms. They're not all that high right now for our area, which is great news. You'll notice, but by 5, 6 o'clock, they are elevated. And just look at these storms. This right here, if this comes true, don't take it literally the exact location. But if you've got isolated cells like this is going to be a problem. This is going to be lots of problems, especially because these could be riding that warm front. And I think that's why model guidance is indicating this could be very strong. Up here, so if the warm front sets up northern Van Buren County, right, then everything to the south of it would see severe weather. Everything to the north of it would be more elevated in nature. So, like, this computer model tries to bring that warm front riding northern Van Buren County. And storms that ride that warm front would even have a higher risk of rotating because they're riding the warm front. So, multiple areas of concern with this. I'm just being honest with you. Remember, we got a moderate risk. That's a 4 out of 5. We don't have the highest risk we can go, but we're not very far. So, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to prepare you guys that just be weather aware. So this clearing here, not good. We don't want to see that clearing. This storm starting to look interesting. Yep, right there. Right there. Bigelow, Houston, Perryville, that storm, that one. I wonder if that one's going to go Tor Warren. Multiple storms starting to look very interesting. And yeah, look, you've got a cell here with a tail, cell here with a tail, starting to tail off here. I mean, these could be multiple supercells developing, and they're going to be able to hit onto this warm front. I don't like the look at this either. See where Moreland is? Not seeing any rotation, but just the movement of these storms is a little bit concerning. Had a question come in. So since the front is moving northwest, does that mean tornado tracks will be northwest? No. More than likely, tornado tracks will be to the northeast of us. Northeast. It's weird. It's kind of weird. And that's where the shear comes into play. We have so much shear and so much spin. So I could be totally wrong about all this, guys. And we may not get much of anything. But I would highly recommend, and I would rather be safe than sorry. If I tell you, oh, we got a lot of rain, probably not going to do much, and we have a tornado outbreak, that's on me. So I personally, there's some serious concern. And this Bigelow storm really starting to wrap up. It's rotating. You can see it right there. See it right there. I bet we see a tornado warning coming. And that's tracking to the northeast. If that hits, if that starts to spin up and get stronger, that will impact the southern part of Van Buren County. So, a lot of things to watch. This storm's really starting to ramp up. 61% chance of probability of tornado, according to our tracker with this. This one has a 8% chance, but it's starting to tighten up. I mean, that's clear. It's not real tight rotation, but you can see where the rotation is. That's bad radar read right there. Tad bit of rotation, very light, right around White County. This right here is starting to really crank up, starting to pick up a little bit to the north of Pangburn. I expect a tornado warning coming for that area if it continues to tighten. And then also here by Bigelow, watching that very close. So numerous things we're watching here on the radar and on the Skyscan Doppler as these storms continue to progress east. The worry, the concern was that these would be isolated in nature and we would see supercells. And unfortunately, I think that's what we're seeing. Because, that thing's really tightening up. If this goes warned, it's going to include Springfield, Greenbrier, Conway. Need to be watching this very close. Guy, watch this. This would be southern Van Buren County that would be impacted with this particular storm. Let's see what they do with this. But this thing, I mean, if you just look, it's really starting to tighten up. I wonder if they're getting ready to issue something on this. I don't know this for certain, guys, and I don't want to jump the gun here, but we're getting reports of something developing up around Searcy. So I feel like Searcy's fixing to get a tornado warning. Look at the curl on that. Things are fixing to get pretty active here. Certainly some rotation. It's weak. It's very weak right now, but it is certainly got that shape that there's inflow, and there's plenty of inflow coming in. The next update that we get on mesoanalysis, I think is going to show us that warm front's really surging north. So let's see what happens. Let's see what the National Weather Service is going to do. But multiple things we're watching, guys. I told you things are going to get active after about 3 o'clock, and here we are. We're starting to see things getting a little bit. I don't want to use the word crazy, but we're starting to see the things starting to pick up a little bit. Okay. So we're watching this very close. I'm in Conway. This popped up very quickly. Yeah, the atmosphere is very supportive. What's going on is the cap is breaking. And now that the cap's breaking, it's allowing thunderstorms to rapidly develop. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So there was something there south of Houston. Now it appears it's kind of faded away now. So at least that's the way it looks right now. Could be just cycling. These thunderstorms aren't really mature, so they're working to get stronger. So it's just taking them a little bit of time. But I think as these progress east, they're going to continue to get stronger. So, we're just staying on this. This is really, really getting a shape like a full-blown supercell. I think there's discussion. I feel like we're fixing to see some kind of a tornado warning coming for somewhere in Arkansas, whether that be the Searcy storm or up here towards Independence storm or this one towards Conway. I think there could be something coming pretty soon. But this is the concern. This is going to be the area we're going to have to watch very closely because that warm front is rising. Let's take a look at something here. That hasn't updated. Let's refresh. See if we've got any updates here. I want to show you something. This is wind shear. Okay, this is wind shear in our atmosphere in the upper levels. That's a lot of wind shear. So we can see that tell you what, let's overlay radar real quick on this. Okay, so here's where this thunderstorm is right here, over towards Bigelow. As it moves east, it's getting into more of a favorable environment. The structure of this makes me think. Let's continue to watch these storms very closely. Circe storm's got some hail with it, but you notice it's in a weaker shear environment. So we were getting reports just a minute ago that maybe something was developing around Circe, but given that it's in a weaker shear environment, it might be struggling just a little bit. I think any storms that develop between Marshall, Clinton, down here towards Greenbrier, that is some serious concern. If the warm front makes it this far, the shear's there, but we're just waiting on the warm front. And as of right now, that warm front is moving to the north, but it hasn't hit us yet. Okay, National Weather Service says they are monitoring the storm near Circe and continuing to watch the storm. It's got a little bit of rotation. It says lower scans showing it not very strong. Let's go back to that on Skyscan. I know this is way out of our coverage area here, but I'm just watching. I'm just curious to watch these storms here. Oh, man. Yep, that's... All right, hang on. So if we go up in the tilt, higher in the atmosphere, there's certainly some rotation here. I wonder if this is going to tighten up. I mean, it's right on the line of the shear, but there's also wind shear here too, to the north of Pangburn. Not enough to issue a tornado warning, but, you know, it's just something to watch. Bigelow storm kind of looks like it may be. I mean, all of these storms are trying. That's what they're doing. They're trying. Not many are succeeding right now. Okay, National Weather Service is advising that they are watching rotation near the Houston area. Houston area, which is exactly where we were just talking about. And that's the storm we've been looking at. They said satellite indicates updraft is getting stronger, so need to keep a close eye on this one. Yeah, I mean, that's the one I've been watching for the last 10, 15 minutes. So let's continue to stay on this here. You said Channel 4 is live. Are they breaking in? Like live coverage? Or, because I'm just wondering. I mean, now it kind of looks like the rotation. I mean, earlier it was definitely rotating. Now it might be falling apart just a little bit. And I think what might be happening is this storm down here is taking some of its energy. It's going to be a long day, guys, unfortunately, for a lot of areas. Certainly think this floral storm heading towards Batesville, Jamestown, that's certainly, you know, the little hook here is definitely concerning. So, I mean, right now we don't have much going on in Van Buren or Searcy County, so I'm just kind of looking across the whole state. I am watching our area very close. I don't see anything in the way of rotation. Nothing that's you know, indicating concern right now, so that's great news. But we are watching, like I said, here's a storm towards Batesville. But storms are starting to ramp up. I think our time for severe weather for us is going to be closer to that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame. At least that's the way it's looking right now. Could change, but I still think, you know, we're waiting on that warm front to continue to rise. And it's certainly trying. It is certainly trying. It is raining again at the Weather Center. More rain. Very humid in Morrilton. Thank you for that report. Yeah, that's that warm front. That warm front is certainly rising. And it's just storms just got to tap into it. And they're certainly trying. They are certainly trying. The the storm I'm really watching is over here towards Independence County right now. That's a bad radar read over around Quitman. Don't worry about that. Sun just came back out at Conway. It's not what you want to see. It's pouring here, though, at the Weather Center. For going back to regular programming. Yeah, they jumped on there because I know they thought it was fixing to go Tor warned, and I thought so too. I mean, it was certainly tightening up, but it kind of fell apart. I mean, this is what it looked like. I mean, that right there, that potentially could have had a warning on it. All right, let's see what we got here. So we're just going to continue to watch this and going to continue to track this. There's a chance this rain is helping keep that instability out of Van Buren County, but I mean, we're already 63 temperature, 63 dew point, so air's very saturated out there right now. So if you're just joining us, severe weather update. Severe weather is certainly still possible. Just waiting for the warm front to surge, and we're watching several storms. Some storms are more concerning than others, and so we will keep you guys updated. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off this live stream just so that we'll be ready to go if a warning gets issued. I certainly think things will pick up over the next hour, 2 hours, closer to 3 hours. So you guys all need to be weather aware. We're watching multiple areas. We're going to continue to track this, continue to watch this as of right now. But have a way of getting warnings. Going to jump off the live stream, but I will be back on right. If I start noticing some concerning storms, we'll be right back on and ready to give you coverage, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you, guys.